What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 70 of Park to Prem here with Nottingham Forest. Today we have the start of season number 15, a season that is going to kick off with the Community Shield today in what has been a pretty busy summer. And well, if something's caught your eye, I would not be surprised. We have money, everyone, and we have money to spend. We're still in the middle of maybe doing some deals, and it's a little bit exciting, if I'm being honest, because after a very extended period time of being, I want to say, slightly in the red, I don't think negative £1 million or £100 million even can be considered slightly in the red, but I'm going to claim it was. We've been slightly in the red for a little while, but I'm too excited to talk, everyone, but we've sold on some players, we've made some money, and we've even made one addition to the team. That's right, I've been very, very busy in the transfer market, as you can tell. Look, it was one of those summers where I had lots of young players coming through, didn't need to sign anyone, so I went big on an individual. And whilst I'd normally talk about the outs, I just want to talk about Davio first. Another Italian to add to the team, 26 years old, £106 million paid. He looks blooming good though, doesn't he? He does look blooming good. He's 26, he's only just turned 26, so he's entering his prime. You can see over the last few years for Juventus, he's been blooming good. 7.85 rating in the league last year. He got man of the match in 33% of the games he played for, as I was saying, Juventus, it's not Juventus, it's Zebra, everyone. But yeah, he's been absolutely phenomenal for a number of years. He did previously have a spell in the Premier League where he really wasn't quite so good. Obviously, Liverpool have been just a constant struggler, so I'm going to blame them. And whilst perhaps I've slightly overpaid for him, I think there is absolutely no denying this man's quality. There may be a question of, where's he going to play? Well, the answer is I'm going to play him as the inverted winger out on the left-hand side, but something that's really nice about him is he's got a load of player traits, including cuts in from the left-hand side, alongside stuff like gets forward whenever possible. I just think he's a super, super talented player who's going to add a lot to the team. Now, the inevitable question is probably, Jack, where does Irk fit into all of this? Well, he's going to return to his natural habitat. He's going to return to the position he started in for us, out on the right-hand side as a winger on attack. So yes, through all of these moves, I have indirectly replaced Poyana, who is now relegated to the bench. Some may argue that is down to some stuff that happened last season. I will let you guys be the judge of that. There is also Fabio Correa, who I'm currently looking at. I'm currently waiting on a scout report. I'm going to keep delaying the transfer until I know more. But I was looking through the national teams, just of all the big teams in Europe. And I'll tell you what, when there's a 19-year-old centre-back who has, well, 2 caps for Portugal, as you can see here, and a goal, it kind of stands out a little bit. But he looks absolutely phenomenal. And he's the kind of player who I think at 19, just plod him in at centre-back, he could be very good for us. Now, whether or not he'd be the replacement for Piotr, I've not entirely decided yet, but I looked across the whole team, as you can see from the star ratings, we're pretty good in most areas, but there was maybe the room to improve Piotr. This might be a way to replace him, not necessarily immediately, but, you know, in the next year or two, with a view to him still being around the club very much as an influential individual. Anyway, I must admit the order of today's episode's a little out of whack. Let's talk about the sales, because, well, I started off things by talking about the fact we're no longer in debt, and that is largely thanks to some of these. You can see here, Cameron Ferguson has gone to Borussia Mönchengladbach. At 23 years old, he'd very much fulfilled his potential, the Scot, and, well, despite that heroic goal in the Europa League final, it'd be fair to say he's never really played for us. You can see the scout summary of a 59 rating kind of implies just wasn't really good enough for us. To receive £48 million for him, I think is just a really, really good deal. Elsewhere on the outs, Kelvin Gibbons has left us. Of course, we signed him for a not dissimilar fee. £32 million paid. Came in to be a bit of a backup for us, but with an abundance of young defensive midfielders, I'm not going to have a spot for him in the team. We sold him on for £34 million. Elsewhere, Staricchio has left us to go to, well, Southampton. You can see here, we signed him for £6 million. Number of loan spells, including a couple of really successful loans in Scotland and then in Argentina. Ultimately, though, at 22 years old, I just think I've got better defensive options, and we were able to sell him on for £32 million, which is some really, really nice money to obviously be making in. Anyway, if there was one transfer that stood out to you, it might have been this one. Toby. He's left us, and he's not just left us, he's joined the enemy, everyone. He was looking for a move after last year where, well, he wasn't first choice anymore. £30 million for a kind of debatably third best goalkeeper in the team, I think is really good business for us. He's going to go to United and be a backup. Worth noting, of course, that with that departure, Hamada, the Syrian international goalkeeper, now becomes our out-and-out backup. And to be honest, he's a really, really good backup to have, who I'm super excited about. Anyway, if we look at the rest of the transfer history, you can see here, Ethan Leek left us to go to Inter. Korotskov left us to go to Genk. Good little striker, a little bit of potential maybe about him. We signed him a number of years ago when he was really young, and then between the ages of 16, when we spotted him, and 18, didn't really improve. Obviously, a number of loan spells hasn't wowed me enough. Decided just to see what kind of money we could get from him in the market. You can see here, potentially going to go up to 26 million, but I think to get 21 million pounds up front is still very, very good business. Elsewhere, we did sell on a number of players who came through the academy who sadly just aren't quite good enough. Players like Jacob French has left us for 10 million pounds. Bit of potential about him. Could end up being okay, but he's not a £10 million player, is he? Similar story with players like Cameron Wooden here. Good player, 21 years old. Not a bad centre-back maybe for a championship team, but for us, he's never going to play. £7.5 million paid. You may have noticed, obviously, with the likes of Gibbons leaving us, as well as Leek, two English players, perhaps there's a concern on the foreign player front, but a really nice situation that we have here, which I can show, is the fact we've got a few players who have now picked up English secondary nationality, including the likes of Piotr, Navio. I think Erk also has it, but he's already got two nationalities in Turkish and German. Yeah, you can see here he's also got English now as a nationality. So because of the stability of the squad, players slowly picking up English kind of heritage. I was going to say heritage. You can't pick up heritage, everyone, but they're getting given a little note that says you are English now, which is great for us because when it comes to, obviously, competition registrations, there is a cap on foreign players. Got a little bit of wiggle room for it. Still room to register one player, perhaps. I'm looking at you, Correa, to potentially be that man. But yes, all in all, just some really good transfer business for us, solving a bit of a problem. I think there were a couple of sales before the season ticked over. If we just look at things here, yeah, you can see Johan Alvarez left us to go to Cruz Azul. Young Mexican striker, but just never going to be good enough for us. And elsewhere, Cyro actually left us for 41 million. Bit of a weird sale, this one, perhaps, in some people's eyes. He joined us a few years ago for 3.7 million. Couple of loan spells in the Championship. He's proven his worth. He was promoted with Bournemouth from the Championship last year. They wanted to sign him. And to be honest, £41 million for a player who, whilst he looks good, there's some question marks over his potential. It felt like a pretty safe bit of business for us to do. Worth noting, actually, we did make one other signing before the season ticked over, and that was Edison. This guy is 19 years old. He is consistent, although the scouts haven't told the coaches that yet. But you can see here, he's signed for £20 million. Not a small sum of money, just another super talented striker to add to our ranks this year, who, to be honest, I'm very, very excited about. So in terms of the squad for this year, this is how we line up. Right now, the first team is a little on the bloated side, 29 players in total, although for the likes of Ballo, for the likes of Adebayo, I have been looking at potentially loaning them out if there was sufficient interest. These are both players who I think are capable of playing at Premier League level regularly, as is Edison, really, who you can see is also loan listed. But we do have an abundance of attacking talent. I think it'd be in their interest as players, but also in my interest if we could get the moves before the transfer window closes. You can see, looking at the squad here, it's a pretty nice squad on the whole. Lots of potential waiting in the wings as well, which is always nice. Twardzik has returned from his loan at Liverpool. I think he's just a super, super talented player. Could well be the replacement to Piotr if the Correa deal, for whatever reason, fell through. If I didn't like what I saw from the scout report that we're still waiting upon. You can kind of see here the difference between Piotr and Twardzik is not big at all. Piotr slightly better in the air, slightly better technicals, but Twardzik is good at 20 years old. Do not be surprised to see him in the first team on the regular in the not-so-distant future. But yeah, that's kind of where the squad's out. If we just look at the under-23s, of course, we've sold on a lot of fringe players this summer to generate the funds to firstly help out the finances, but also to secure the signing of Devayo. You can see in terms of players with potential, there's a fair few out on loan. Players like Bill Summers. Last January, we loaned him to Rangers. You may remember this guy. I'm very hyped on him. I think he's going to be very, very special. I think another loan to Scotland is really going to help him continue to develop. Elsewhere, Torres, who we signed from Atletico, I want to say. Yeah, 2.7 million. He's gone to Hibs on loan. And actually, Hibs are a team who have become a pretty solid team you can see here in Scotland, consistently finishing in the top three. We've loaned a few players to them over the years, like Max Diamond, who was on loan at them last year, had a really good year with 15 goals. He's gone on loan to them again this year. I like the look of Max Diamond. Whether or not he's going to justify the £15 million price tag, in a weird way, I kind of feel like this season is going to be make or break from that perspective. But he could well be a Cameron Ferguson Mark II, which isn't really what I want to see. I want to see him take that next step. He's Hibs' key player. They're playing good football. I think, we've kind of found a home in Scotland now, I look at it. There's lots of players on loan in Scotland. Benavides has gone to Lyon for a year. He was in the first team last year. A few new players like Twardzik coming back into the squad at 22, loaning him out. I think he's the kind of player who will look to sell on next summer, but I think a season of playing regular football in France is going to allow us to inflate his value a little bit and hopefully get significantly more money for him. Elsewhere, Stupers, a bit of a make or break season for him. Of course, signed from Ajax for £23 million. He's never really set the world alight. This year, his biggest loan spell so far, going to be a regular starter for Villarreal. Hopefully, he's going to justify his cost. He's got good potential. He needs to start developing, though. Otherwise, we're in danger of it not really working out. And the last player we'll talk about from the loans, just whilst we're here, is Lee Fisher. You might remember this guy, signed from Midtjylland for £16 million. Last year was on loan at Levante, did okay there. This year, he's hopefully going to get regular first-team football playing for Crystal Palace, a young Englishman who I'm hoping is going to follow in the footsteps of Lind, who you may have noticed significantly larger wages. Yes, a big thing over the summer was renewing contracts and just getting all the best players on significantly longer-term deals. For the most part, we've managed to do that. The long-term security of this club is pretty secure at this point with all the transfer business we did this summer, selling on players to help out the bank balance. I'm hoping that Davio is the missing piece in the puzzle. Also, hoping that Urk out on the right-hand side is going to find his groove. Anyway, the first game of the league season is going to be against Manchester United. I'm going to be frank with you. I think 3 of the last 4 episodes have been against them. So with that in mind, I thought we'd come back for the Community Shield today, where we're going to take on a Tottenham team who are a little bit of an enigma. Last year, they finished 2nd in the league. The year before that, they finished 6th. You can see they've been a bit of a weird team over the years, not really getting consistent Champions League football. If we just look at their pre-season billing, they're predicted to finish 6th. Where are we predicted to finish? 1st. I guess that's a testament to the progress that we've made as a club. And in fact, actually, if we just look here at the Media Dream 11, Danny Dyer in goal, Navio and De Volder at the back. Arsenal with the left back and right back in this team, which is odd. Sami Florenton is in the Media Dream 11 midfield alongside Davio, Largo and Urk. Up front, unfortunately, it is United dominated with Gorello and Jean. But no, it's interesting, right? The league, there's only 3 different teams now with players in this best 11. Arsenal, of course, with the 2 wing-backs, but I think it kind of shows where ourselves and Manchester United are at. That is very much viewed by the media, at least going into this season, as the big rivalry. Right, let's get into this. We're going back to Wembley again. It's the Community Shield. Last year, I forgot this tournament existed. This year, I'm keen to see an improvement in terms of performance. We only beat Chelsea 1-0 last time. Obviously, with Davio coming into the team, Urk's out on the right. Didn't mention it earlier, but Gonzalez this year, he's no longer an advanced forward, everyone. The advanced forward Gonzalez has died. He is now a complete forward until I either decide it isn't working and change it or just feel like a moment of change in a few years' time. I do feel like, though, with a complete forward in Gonzalez, which is something he can do, it should hopefully allow Urk and also Davio really to be standout players in this team, really to come out of their shells and show us what they're made of. Anyway, we've got a chance here. It's going to be Sampaio's throw-in, which is cut out, but it falls back to him. Can he beat his man down the right-hand side? He can. Can he beat another 2? He's got 2 on him. Finds De Volder inside to Urk. Sampaio. Davio, almost a goal on his debut. It was blocked. Falls to Navio. And that is an awful effort at the end of it all there. I'm not sure who pulled the trigger on that shot. That was appalling. But 20 minutes gone, the first highlight of the game in our favour. And despite Tottenham having a lot of the ball, were the team having all the shots? At least early on. Urk with a free kick whipped in. Piccione heads over. I did attempt to get Piccione to endorse the club to Davio. Davio is one of the big world superstars of this save game. When we signed him, more shirt sales were kind of predicted in the news items. I tried to get Piccione to talk to him. I don't know if anyone can tell me on the contrary. I've never been able to get a player to talk like to an international teammate to endorse a move and it have a positive effect. Does it ever sway the decision making? I've never seen it if it does happen. Anyway, we've got a half chance here as it's initially blocked. Devayo not signed for his heading, although that was a tad disappointing, that, I think, effort on goal. And well, it's 0-0 at half-time. Talked about the fact that last year this fixture finished 1-0 when we were in it. I was hoping for something more. It's not really played out thus far in this game. But good news, if we can find some here, crumb of comfort, Erk is playing quite well out on the right-hand side, as it is Sampaio. So maybe they're going to kick it off on the right-hand side. They're going to get on like a house on fire, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. Anyway, Sampaio bringing it forward, attempts to switch the play, but it's only cleared as far as Navio, who plays it to Devayo. On his debut, what can he show us? He's going to earn a penalty, and the defender gets injured in the tackle. Now, would it be a mistake I was about to say, would it be a mistake to put Devayo on the penalty? Gonzalez has snatched the ball and gone, I'm taking this, boss. I'm going to score it. You better score it, I hate penalties in this game. Our team hate penalties. Devayo, can you take penalties? The worst thing here is Gonzalez is not a bad penalty taker. He's got 10 penalty taken, but 16 composure. I just don't trust Lind. He's missed penalties. I don't trust Largo. He's missed penalties. You know what, Devayo, go to the top of the list. Comment section. I'm relying on you to remind me to change that before next episode. So don't let me down. Scroll down now and just write Devayo on pens. There's 10 minutes left. We've had 2 shots on target all game and a missed penalty. I feel absolutely fine, everyone. I realise I'm leaving this quite late to make changes, but let's bring in Twardzik. Elsewhere, Erk out on the right is tired. I'm going to bring in Poyana. I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, look, it's a new system in terms of the front line. You might have also noticed some change in roles in midfield, doing a little bit of tinkering. I didn't really talk about the midfield changes, but if you spotted them, then give yourself a cookie. I'll talk about them after this game because there's a highlight here. I mean, if we're going to get, like, FM'd in a game, I suppose this match at the start of the year wouldn't be the worst one for it to happen in. Then this does go straight to pens. It does go straight to pens. I don't like penalties, everyone. Now, the good news is Poyana's okay at pens, except he's anxious. It'll be fine. I mean, logically, we're not actually a bad penalty team, but we just are. Relax, pick your spot, lads. Do it for me. Right. Let's get the penalty monkey off our back. Poyana. On off the bench. Subbed on for his penalty taking. That's a good penalty. That is a good penalty. He is one of the better penalty takers in this team. Ender now stepping up for them. Of course, Dyer in goal. Prove your money's worth, Dyer. Prove your money's worth in the shootouts. Do what Toby couldn't for us. Okay, Devayo, you earned a penalty. I'm going to give you an assist, even though it wasn't scored. You got an assist for that. Can you score here? I don't have penalty takers, and I just don't know what to do. Am I just unlucky, or is there something I'm missing? Is there some hidden penalty stuff that I don't know about? I mean, the good news is they've missed a penalty too, so we can pause the meltdown for now. Gonzalez, he didn't even hit the target with his penalty before. I mean, why couldn't he score that one before? Also, if you left a comment 2 minutes ago telling me to put Devayo on penalties, just edit your comment to a different player of your choice. Because Devayo ain't taking them. He's missed one here in the shootout. I can't trust him either. Just pick a player that you like, and I'm going to pick one at random. Because at this point, it feels completely random as to whether or not the penalty taking means anything. I just want to go and cry, everyone. Requesting permission to cry. I mean, I know it's only the Community Shield, but it's, start as you mean to go on. I mean, we have to score and they have to miss, and I have absolutely no faith in us. It's Largo stepping up for it. I know it's Largo stepping up for it as well. He is the best penalty taker in terms of composure and penalty taking as a combination. He just doesn't score the penalties for us. Largo, prove me wrong. Shut me up. Shut me up. Score this. I mean, it's a good penalty, to be fair. Maybe put him back on penalties, everyone. Right. Danny Dyer. I've spent 150 million on you for moments like this, for penalty saves like this. Who is stepping up for them? It's going to be Eastham, who is the best player in this in this Tottenham team. Save it. Right, and we're not watching the penalty ceremony. I'm being bitter again because I hate penalties. I don't have a penalty taker. I don't have a penalty taker. I do have penalty takers. They just can't take them. Lind misses again. De Vio's returned to English football. Oh, right, let's talk about the midfield role changes. This is all still very much in flux. I'm trying to get something that works, I think, well with the whole team. So my thinking is we have De Volder at roaming playmaker deep. I could play him as a deep line playmaker, but that wouldn't really make use of his physicals in the same way that roaming playmaker does. Also, he's pretty good at dribbling the ball. With that change, I am currently playing Lind as a box-to-box midfielder. I'd be lying if I say I love this role for him. But to be honest, besides his finishing and his aggression, he's very well suited to it. He's got great work rate, great stamina, great off the ball. I feel like the passing and vision are kind of a bonus, but maybe it doesn't make enough usage of them. The other option I have considered is maybe just to play him as a centre mid on support, or maybe even like a centre mid on attack. But then I might have to change stuff up because I don't know how I feel about having quite so many players on attack. I feel like actually, despite changing the winger onto attack last year, we almost have too many players on attack already as it is. I'm not sure. I feel like I'm going to experiment a little bit, see what works, see what doesn't work, and we'll see where we end up, say, 10, 15 games into the season. Also, Gonzalez is a complete forward on attack. You can see here, he's got great work rate, 17 passing, 15 vision. These are attributes not normally made use of when he's playing as an advanced forward. So with the new talent behind him in De Vio and Urk, who are proven goal scorers, just curious to see how maybe he operates in a slightly different role within us. Another thing I have considered is with the new roaming playmaker, with just the technical giftedness we have, maybe shortening up the passing a little bit, really trying to play a good possession brand of football. Right now we are perhaps a little more direct than I would like to be in terms of being that super sexy team, which is something that, I don't know, we've never really re-identified as a club, but I do feel like with the players that we've got, just encouraging a passing style of play where we look to dominate the ball probably isn't a bad move to go to just with the sheer talent we have. Anyway, that is where we are at for season number 15. It's not the ideal start, but we will look to bounce back. In terms of when we're going to be back, I'm not entirely sure. We'll see how the league started out. I'm not entirely sure. We will see how the league starts out. I'm not going to do the game against United away because frankly, I'm sick of seeing them. In the league, they're never a problem. It's just in absolutely everything else. Guys, let me know what you make of the De Vio transfer. Am I mad for just signing one man? I just feel like with the team as a whole, we don't need new players right now. We've got a good crop of players coming through. No players with contracts expiring. I mean, we've got Mbappe to worry about replacing him with, but to be fair, he's not really a first-team player who needs to be replaced, is he? We've got so many other attackers in our ranks. Anyway, I'm just annoyed about... I'm going to go have a lay down and cry about penalties. This save game has ruined penalties for me. I will never celebrate earning a penalty because I never know if it's going to go in or not. And with that said, I'm just going to go now. Goodbye, everyone. Hello, this is Bonus Jack. Yes, Jack at the end of the episode tacking a bit onto an existing video. Sorry there wasn't a video yesterday. My internet died over Easter weekend. I've been using my phone's 4G. It does not like uploading 20... minute-long videos, sadly. So that's why the stream highlight went up the other day. I managed to get that one uploaded because it was a slightly shorter video. Hopefully, it's all sorted now. Fingers crossed, touch wood. Episodes will resume daily. I do appreciate your patience in the meantime. Anyway, that is all from me officially now. Pass Jack, good job. Penalty takers, you are garbage. I'm not over this. It's been 24 hours. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.